to have a realistic chance of starting to stay in the 2020 Super League. He certainly has made some important changes here, but it's good to see Khairul Amri on the bench. I think in the games that you go back to the game against Kedah in the semi-final of the Cup, against Perak, where again that poor first half, but then a solid second half, I just feel that's what they're lacking. A player like Khairul Amri that will give him something off the bench.
There's a bit of a difference here tonight in Junker as well. Referee Majid Mohammad Al-Shamrani, AFC referee, a FIFA qualified referee, in fact, from Saudi Arabia, has been brought down to officiate this particular match in Junker. And as Stanley pointed out aptly just now, Singaporean striker Khairul Amri is back on the bench tonight, and we might even see him at some point. But the main guy for Felda United is the guy that you're seeing on your screens at the moment, Stanley Hadin Azman. 2 goals in his last 2 games. How big of a role will he play?
I just think he's had one of the best seasons in his football career. Not many know the reason why he never followed Satyanathan to Selangor early season. If you ask Satyanathan, he doesn't have an answer to that. But it certainly has worked out well for Hadin Azman, because now he's the top goal scorer for the side. He's the go-to man, and he's been consistent. He has scored goals from some ridiculous positions. He's just on a scoring form.
And this is the Selangor starting 11. That man, of course, will receive all the attention. Former Felda United striker Ifedayo Omosui.
Yeah, I think he is, when they lost Rufino, they brought in a goal scorer. He doesn't get involved too much in their build-up play, as Sandro, with his experience, has provided a lot of the gameplay. Andre coming to form, defensively working harder. Sean Chawaraj, who's a bit of a hit and miss throughout the season. Amri Yahya can come on and put on a show against a side like Felda. It's a game where Selangor's looking. If they can get that win, they're pushing to the final bit to finish top 3. Top 2 at the very least. Certainly Pahang winning. But it's about Felda here. They've got that one extra game. 5 games in hand. That's 15 points. That's a huge possibility they can still get out of this situation.
And it's something that B. Satyanathan himself pointed out in the pre-match interview. Even though Felda United are bottom of the Liga super table, but their recent form, and especially how they've played in their last 2 games against Perak and Kedah, suggests that there will be more than just pushovers tonight.
Yeah, certainly, because, well, Satya will know more than the rest. There's 2 factors here. Firstly, he knows all about Nizam Jamil. And second, Felda is the one who knocked out Selangor from the cup. And if you go down to these kind of situations, you realize that it's the form on the day that brings you the win. And he certainly is alluding to that. Even though they've lost that game coming back against Kedah, outstanding. I think if they had another 5 minutes in that game, Felda could have made final of the cup. And against Perak in the second half, solid performance. So they will want to build on that tonight.
We're all set for kickoff here at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium in Junker. Ifedayo Omosui kicks it off for Selangor. The former Felda United striker, of course, very familiar with this particular venue, having also scored, I think, a number of goals here for Malacca in the Piala Malaysia campaign last season. He will lead the line for Selangor tonight. Felda United attacking from the left to the right of your screens with their orange home kit, in fact, while Selangor will be attacking from the right to the left of your screen with their away white kit. The last time both sides faced each other at the Shah Alam Stadium in the FA Cup in April, Selangor fell to a 1-2 defeat against Felda United. In fact, the last time both sides played each other in Junker was in 2017, when Felda United were able to beat Selangor 3-1.
Well, just early on itself, you could see that Felda wants to push on. They're going on a very high pressing basis, just trying to put Selangor under pressure, where perhaps Selangor's weakest department is, which is their defensive department.
Yago Jr. lumps the ball forward in search of S. Santuru, intercepted by Halim Shari. It's back with Australian defender Taylor Regan. Khairul Muaimin couldn't exactly keep the ball in play. He's another one that seems to have hit form at the right time. He's been playing regularly under Satya in the last few weeks or so. 2 goals in his last 2 games as well for Khairul Muaimin.
Yeah, just coming in Khairul Muaimin, I had a post-match interview with him and also with Satya right after that goal he scored. at JDT, and also last week as well. It's just how Satya has detailedly looked at how he's going to get this man who about 11 years ago was one of the biggest starlets coming through with a Kedah jersey. It's key when you know the player's gone through 4 or 5 seasons of injury, and you're going to have his time on the pitch, and you want the best out of him. You got to be very cautious with what you do, and Satya has done very well with Khairul Mohammed.
Bit of an aggressive challenge from Taylor Regan. Free kick for Felda United. It's nothing unusual from Taylor Regan. He is a bit of an aggressive tackler, isn't he?
Yeah, something that they need very, very badly. I think Selangor's defense sometimes can be said a bit lightweight as well, a bit too nice, but Taylor Regan does not fall in that mix. He's a no-nonsense defender, and I think they need some sort of a leader at the back.
Free kick taken quickly by Thiago Aquino. Finding Tasnim Fitri. Another one of the young Felda United players who has been given a regular chance in the first team in recent weeks. Be interesting to see how Felda United start this match. They tend to play, especially in recent weeks, in fact, they tend to start poorly in the first half. Conceded twice against Kedah in the first half last week. Just a few days before that, they conceded 3 goals in the first half against Perak. But what Felda United genuinely do really well is they never give up, number one, and they also tend to find a way to stage a comeback in the second 45 minutes. Ifedayo dropping deep to get a bit involved. Here's Sandro finding Khairul Mohammed. Back towards Halim Shari. Halim finding Sandro. Great bit of work from Sandro, looking for options at the moment. Ifedayo intercepted by Thiago. Chanturu will play it really quickly, anticipating the run that Azim Rahim was making. Almost causing problems for Selangor.
Yeah, it wasn't convincing from Michel Nguyen. I think he didn't have the contact that he wanted. You can't take risk at that kind of area. Good pressure by Azim Rahim. Clearly you can see every time there's an option to go forward straight in the early minutes. I think that's what Nizam Jamil has set out to do. This is coming back to your point, Kish. I think the key here is if you don't start well, then you got to focus on not conceding.
Yes, Sandro. Yet again, as soon as he gets access to the ball, he's pressed aggressively by more than 2 Felda United players. Halim Shari spreads it all the way to the right, looking for the run that Shami Safari was making, I think. Perhaps it was Khairul Mohammed, in fact. Still pretty scrappy after the first 5 minutes here at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium in Jangka. Josine shot as Chanturu. Great interception from Fandi Othman. Here's Azim Rahim back with Chanturu. Now Selangor will look to break. Faiz Naseh has got Hendrik. Hendrik finds Shami Safari. Shami plays it forward towards Faiz Naseh. No free kick, says the referee. Now Hadin Azman, he's just looking for space at the moment, Hadin Azman. Great interception from Selangor. Now they will look to launch a quick counter-attack. Hendrik is evaluating his options. Here's Sandro.
Well, it's a bit of a scrappy start, even from players who are technically sound. We're looking at the likes of Hendrik, Sandro, even Hadin Azman, taking a bit of time to just try and get their touches right. The next pass as well. So I think as much as they try and find a settle down, you probably see the game getting a bit more smoother at the moment. It's a bit of a touch and go, a bit of a hit and miss.
Shang Nguyen. Here's Sandro finding Halim Shari. Endrick at the moment. He's got Faiz Nasir to his left. Fandi Othman looking to overlap at the moment. Faiz Nasir cuts back. Under pressure from Thiago. Selangor doing well to control possession in midfield. Here's Sandro. Back with Endrick. He's got a number of options, Endrick. Almost finding Ifedayo with that incisive pass.
Yeah, I think it was a little clever little idea here from Endrick. Ifedayo needed to be on his toes, got on his heels. That's the kind of play that you need in those type areas. But you need to be on the same wavelength. When it comes off, you'll create space.
Chanturu clearly unhappy with that tackle from Fandi Othman. He was another one of those players who genuinely impressed against Kedai, especially in the second half, as Felda United were looking to stage a comeback. Here's Sandro now breaking free for Selangor. Brought down. It's a free kick for the Red Giants.
Sandro just using bags of experience there. He knew he didn't have the pace to go past Jazarin. Then just protects the ball, puts his body in between Jazarin and the ball, earns a foul.
Sandro is usually dangerous from set-piece situations, but you suspect that this one is just a bit too far out. You can never discount the man though. Sandro goes straight towards Ifedayo, but he was under pressure to make anything out of it. Now Chanturu will break free for Felda United down the right flank. He's got a number of options. Chanturu finding Hadin Azman. Hadin is up against Shamin Safari. Blocked by the Selangor defense. Here's Tasnim Fitri. Finding Hadin Azman. Hadin back towards Jazazrin. Great bit of work from Jazazrin for Tasnim Fitri. That opening, now Azim Rahim. Excellent defending from Taylor Regan. Starting to get stretched at the moment this match. Ifedayo. Here's Sandro. Finding Faiz Nasir. Back with Sandro. Now Karil Mohamed looking to get a bit more involved. Faiz Nasir, Ifedayo inside the box, but Faiz Nasir's cross is cleared away by Masaki Watanabe. Chanturu using his pace yet again.
Well, really important for him, for Fandi Othman, to make sure he got back in time, purely because he's been in a very advanced role trying to create space for Karil Mohamed. End-to-end stuff at the moment, purely because Bola has just perhaps settled down a little bit more, getting a bit more of combination play in the attacking third, a bit more fluidity to their play. But again, I like what I see from Hadin Azman. He makes up his mind really early. I know it didn't come off, but it's really dangerous when a player's in that kind of form, because when he takes it early, you kind of surprise goalkeepers most times, and he's got so many goals this season from angles where goalkeepers are thinking he's going to put a cross in, and then all of a sudden it's a snapshot.
He's up to 5 Liga Super goals this season, Hadin Azman. 2 in his last 2 matches in all competitions as well. Norazlan Razali, a former Selangor goalkeeper who has been one of the most important Felda United players in what has been a difficult season for them. Taylor Regan back with Halim Shari. Keeping it clean and simple at the moment, Selangor. Sandro back with Taylor again. Ifedayo has dropped really deep at the moment, but here's Sandro. Almost looking to find Faiz Nasir in that situation. Hadin plays it back to Watanabe. Watanabe will clear that. Chanturu keeps it in play. Now Jadid Ilyas under pressure from Faiz Nasir. Great bit of work from Faiz. Great touch from Sandro as well. Chanturu somehow finds Josine. Azim Brahim is making a run up front. Josine spreads it towards Hadin. Vital interception from Shami Safari.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of mini successes here in terms of how little blocks of pressing for Felda is forcing players like Sandro to go long at times. Sandro is trying to play the ball out from the back. His last option would be trying to play that long ball, but whenever that long ball is launched, then you got to say Felda is being successful in what they're trying to do in terms of them trying press and forcing them into tight spaces.
Here's Faiz Mazlan. Same Fitri back with Faiz. Selangor regain possession. Taylor Regan. Mishal Nguyen. There's a poor clearance from Mishal, and Felda United will look to capitalize. Great recovery from Mishal Nguyen. Shami Safari. Ball goes back to Felda United's court. Chanturu. Josine shot! That was always going to be difficult from that distance. Josine shot, saw a bit of space and decided to try his luck. Didn't exactly trouble Khairul Azad. We're closely approaching the 15th minute mark of this match in Junker. It's a bit strange, isn't it, Stanley, for you to point at that chance as probably the most clear-cut one so far. But here's Selangor. Endrick! There you go. The first clear-cut chance of the match.
Half a chance. Always tempting when the ball bounces just nicely in a nice height in front of you. Thought he caught it really well. Nur Azlan had to make sure it was a clean catch. Helps his confidence. Purely how they started the game, that's what we were seeing. Not many clear-cut chances, and we were seeing the first half chance of the game. Both sides really figuring out in terms of what each other's got to offer. I think Felda's come out defensively pretty strong tonight. As I mentioned, they're not good starters. The goals suggest that they've not scored in 15 to 30th minute. That itself shows how slow starters they are. So they must try not to concede.
Bit too comfortable for Nur Azlan Razali. The cross from Fandi Othman down the left flank. Felda lose possession yet again. Fandi, Faiz Nasir, here's Sandro. Back with Endrick. Yeah, gaining confidence at the moment, Selangor. They probably need to get Ifedayo a bit more involved. Here's the Nigerian striker, Halim Shari now. Khairul Mohaimin. Trying to overlap. Khairul crosses into the box, looking for Ifedayo. Headed away by Thiago. It's back with Endrick. Shami Safari gets a touch.
Again, Thiago's positioning one of the best centre-backs in the Super League. I know it's an irony, right, that he plays for the bottom side in the Super League at the moment. But minus him off, I believe Felda would have conceded more, just purely because of his experience of how he puts himself. That's a good example of exactly leaving Ifedayo, but measuring where the cross is going to come in.
Endrick, now Ifedayo setting it up for Sandro. Back with Ifedayo. But the offside flag has been raised. Almost carving out a chance for Selangor, that move.
Yeah, I think it's just this very bit here when Sandro, clever again, because you could see Masaki was committed to try and block a shot. It was a little shimmy, plays the ball, and Ifedayo certainly offside. Thiago, rightly so, pointed it out to the linesman. Spending a little more time the attacking third, Selangor. That will help their confidence.
He's been an absolute revelation for Selangor, Ifedayo Omosui, since joining them when the second or the mid-season transfer window, in fact, was open back in May. He's scored 8 goals in just 6 league games for the Red Giants so far, including a hat-trick against Pahang last time out. Yet another tame effort from Josine. He's tried that a couple of times now in this match already. Bit messy at the back, Selangor.
Yeah, they've taken that risk a couple of times, and I'm seeing at a couple of Felda players here just realizing that Selangor don't like to play those long balls unless forced to. So you want to be smart at times because they start trying to anticipate that passes. We saw it a couple of times, you just pointed out rightly so. But that's where I think it's key, the fact that sometimes you just got to surprise the system. Just play it long, make it simple.
Now Khairul Mohamed looking to use his space. But there's another ball on the pitch. Been knocked out of play. Probably disrupted Khairul Mohamed's run and tempo as Selangor were looking to break away with pace. Quick reminder that we've got a Saudi Arabian official on the pitch tonight, referee Majid Muhammad Al-Shamrani. He's being assisted by 3 Malaysians, Muhammad Junaidi Samad, Hamdi Haji Omar, and Almi Abdullah. Shami Safari now. Here's Halim Shari, finding Shami again. Great bit of work from Shami. Sandro. Play on, says the referee. Hendrik. Intercepted by Jadid Ilyas. Chanturu with his pace. Plays it really quickly. There was no way Azim Rahim was going to catch up with the pace of that ball.
Yeah, I think a little bit ambitious. But if he had Adi Nazban on the same wavelength as him, that would be a really good ball, because then the entire Selangor defense got to shift towards the right after trying to defend on the left. But when you don't have players, then you got to be a bit more wiser, because what you do is you just give the possession back to the opponent.
Shami Safari lumping it forward. Header from Thiago. Thiago again. Sandro gets a touch. Hendrik is breaking free. Here's Josine now breaking for Felda United. Chanturu brought down, and this could potentially be a great chance for Felda United to create something.
Yeah, clever from Chandru, because he forced Fandi on his weaker right foot. Fandi, a very cultured left footer, player who I've played with. At 17 when he was in Bukit Jalil Sports School, he was already listed in the side that played against Manchester United in 2009. Very clever at times. You just got to know which is the weaker foot. So I think what Chandru does is just drags him on his right. He leaves the leg hanging, and then he earns a foul. Here on the free kick, you've got Josine who can hit those balls into areas where you know Thiago Jr. will be one of those key players. Hadi Nazman can hit a ball. Got to make use of that situation. They're not great starters, but imagine getting a goal. I think this will be the first time they'll get a goal in this 15 minutes in this season. Something that happened to PJ City yesterday. Never scored in the first 30 minutes, but they broke that deadlock yesterday.
Seems to be a good weekend to break records. Hopefully it's nothing too serious with as Chanturu as well. But Josine and Hadin Azman are behind the ball. There's about 5 orange shirts inside the box as well. Thiago and Masaki Watanabe will undoubtedly be the main target. Keep an eye on Thiago. He has a tendency of being extremely dangerous from set-piece situations like this. Josine takes it quickly this time. Headed away by Hendrik. throw in to Felda United. Hadin goes all the way back to, I think it's Jadid Ilyas. Now Selangor have an opportunity to launch a swift counter-attack. Faiz Nasir. But Felda skipper Jazaz Rain was able to drop back and intercept that one in time. Still 0-0 between Felda United and Selangor after close to 23 minutes at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium here in Jangkar. Here's Sandro da Silva. Quick 1-2 with Kyle Muhaimin. Still with Sandro. Selangor struggling to make it work in the final third. Hadin Azman using all his pace and is brought down by Michal Nguyen, who goes into the books. First player to be shown the yellow card tonight is Michal Nguyen.
Yeah, I think firstly that's just poor defending. Michel, who's been caught out far too many times this season. You can't be standing in a position where you're static purely because Hadin could have gone right, Hadin could have gone left, and either way he would have beaten Michel Nguyen. You've got to be side on, and that's when you can take off with him. And if you're flat-footed, you're static, you're always going to be beaten. Well done of Hadin, who's done it again, time and time again. He runs at certain pace, never stops the ball dead, always gives a problem to defenders.
This would be a bit more dangerous if it was a couple of yards closer to the goal, but you still can't rule Jazazrain out from situations like this. Jazazrain! Ball took a bit of a weird bounce, but in the end, Khairul Azan was able to save that one.
Yeah, I think it was fairly comfortable at the end. Yes, bounce does not help goalkeepers, but the bounce was straight at him. Bit of power on the ball, but still comfortable.
Not many chances here, clear-cut ones in the first 25 minutes. But what you do have, in abundance in fact, is what you're seeing on your screens at the moment. There are plenty of moths flying around here at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium in Jangkar. They're all over your screen. They're all over the pitch as well.
Yeah, I really don't know what can the home team do about that.
Not surprising, really. I mean, if you're aware of Jangkar as a location, it's sort of off the beaten path, really. Here's a replay of the incident again, Hadin Azman.
A great example of Michel Nguyen with a bit of a lash out on Hadin because he knew he was well and beaten. Just coming back about the mods, I don't think anything can be done just purely, as you just rightly mentioned. It's in the middle of nowhere, firstly. This Tun Abdul Razak, beautiful facility. I love the venue, but it's just somewhere where the mods live.
Bit difficult to sort the situation out, but as it stands, it's still 0-0. Selangor now, Hendrik, Faiz Nasir, Ifedayo inside the box. Great bit of work from Faiz, under pressure though. Still with Selangor, Halim Shari. It must be said that we haven't exactly seen much from Ifedayo Omusui in the first 25 minutes of this match.
Yeah, he's that kind of player, Kish, where I think he's got a very specific, narrowed role in how he goes about playing his football, and also clearly why Satya likes Ifedayo. He focuses on getting in the box, getting in areas where he can contribute to scoring goals.
Here's Sandro da Silva. Sandro! That was always going to go wide. They're being limited to opportunities from distances like that at the moment. Not just Selangor, Felda United as well.
Yeah, but I think the upper hand at the moment is with Felda. Purely because they probably set out mini targets, knowing Nizam Jamil. At times you just got to start cutting those 90 minutes into few phases. So perhaps a 30 minutes mark, don't concede. If you don't score, if you score, it's a bonus. If you don't score, don't concede. So I think how they've forced Selangor not to play their free-flowing football into limited spaces, keeping it tight whenever they can, force them to go long, has been so far successful.
Ifedayo. It's now with Sandro. Khairil Muhaimin. Still with Khairil at the moment. Trying to work his way into space. Back with Endrick. Looking for options. Finds Halim Shari. Halim, crossfield pass looking for Faiz Nasir. Having a bit of a difficult time at the moment. Faiz Nasir down that left flank. Here's Ifedayo. Couldn't find Fandi Osman. It's a bit strange really from Selangor because they seem to want to find Faiz Nasir, but they always hit him with those long aerial balls and he struggles to win those headers.
Yeah, and I think that credit needs to be given to Felda, because at every first option, Selangor's going to play that little 5-meter balls towards Faiz Nasir, who we know perhaps can start creating and being a person that launches the attack. But at the moment, how Chandru's been working, how Jadid's been working down the right-hand side. And the key here is actually for me Jazarin Jamaluddin, who's been outstanding. The player is already at 33 years old, from Johor, former JDT2 player as well, former Johor FC player as well, who certainly knows about Malaysian football pretty well. I think how he's worked in that number 6 area has been crucial in his first 30 minutes.
Taylor Regan. Sandro. Fandi Osman on loan from PKNSFC. Now Halim Shari finding Sandro, trying to play it quick towards Ifedayo, who lost his footing slightly. Really aggressive Chanturu, trying to win the ball back. Bit too comfortable for Selangor at the moment in terms of ball possession. They're still struggling to make things tick in the final third.
Yeah, every time that long ball is played, again, very well handled. That's exactly what they're doing. I think what you see is a bank of 4, but completely moving in collective and cohesive.
Now Faiz Nasir trying to cut it back for Ifedayo. Blocked by Watanabe, still with Faiz. Now Fandi Ahmad picks it up. Fandi crosses into the box. Thiago hits it away. Danger isn't exactly over. Faiz. Now Fandi Osman. Halim Shari goes back towards Taylor Regan. Here's Sandro. Finding Michal Nguyen. It's all Selangor in the last 5 minutes or so. Ifedayo. Poor pass from Ifedayo, giving the ball away. But can Felda United hold on to this? Jadid. Finding Josine Shat. Watanabe. Tasnim Fitri. Here's Josine again. Almost finding Hadin Azman with that pass. Khairul Azan will clear this one. Jadid Ilyas. Here's Jazazrin. Back with Thiago Aquino. Jadid plays it long. What a fantastic ball looking for Hadin. But eventually it was dealt with rather well by Shami Safari. Poor pass from Jazazrin to give that one away.
I think the first time Selangor had a sniff with that little 1-2, which you were just mentioning every time they play those long balls. Faiz Nasir is never going to win those battles. The first time he got a chance, even though it was blocked by 2 players at the very end. And that's the first time Selangor has just found a little passage through.
Should he have gone for goal straights then?
Yeah, I think he would have gone for goal straight if he had seen an angle. I don't think he saw it from that position, perhaps. positioning on Nur Azlan, and also kind of feeling those defenders breathing down his neck. Two players just making it in time to block. But on the other hand, lots of credit to Felda how they've set up so far. Because if you look besides that one little passage of play, they've dealt with everything perhaps Selangor trying to do tonight.
Now Chanturu up against Fandi Othman. He cuts inside. Still with Felda United, Josine lumps the ball towards the left, finding Hadin Azman. Hadin again. This time it's cleared away by Taylor Regan. Bit of a squabble between Ifadayo, but he does win the ball. It's a great chance for Selangor at the moment. Faiz Nasir needs a bit of space. Faiz Nasir! Almost giving Selangor a 1-0 lead here in Jangka.
Well, the best play, the best break of the game thus far, Fado just finding that late run made by Faiz Nasir. I think he kind of lost his chance as soon as he put it in his weaker right. Lost a bit of his balance on the way as well when he took that shot.
Still a chance for Selangor, corner kick. Sandro's delivery into the box. Headed away by the Felda defense. Still with Sandro, yet another cross. Another corner kick for the Red Giants. Need another good delivery from Sandro. This time it's a bit better, almost causing chaos inside the penalty box. Still alive, here's Sandro again. Cleared away by a Josine shot. Throw into Selangor in a dangerous area. Sandro being pressed by Chanturu at the moment. Great footwork from Sandro. Couldn't exactly find Faiz Nasir. It's back with Taylor Regan. Bit of an ambitious pass looking for Ifadayo. Goes straight towards Nur Azlan. Approximately 10 minutes left in the first half here. Still 0-0 between Felda United and Selangor. Now chance for Felda United to break with Hadin Azman down the left. In the end, Shami Safari did enough.
Yeah, Khairul Mohammed just using a bit of experience. I think a faintest of touches from Hadin Azman recovered his loose pass. It's not been easy from set pieces as well for Selangor, purely because I think Nizam Jamil has worked really well with his side. A bit of a mixture of zonal and man marking in both the corners that we just saw. Yeah, perhaps Sandro did better at his delivery in the second one, but the first one, well dealt, not a problem. Even the second one, I think Nur Azlan could have punched it a bit further. So at the moment, I'm not seeing where is the goals going to come from from either side. But obviously Selangor as the favourites perhaps be looking at perhaps opening the account.
It will probably be a very encouraging sign for Nizam Jamil as well. In the last two matches, he has seen his side concede 5 goals in the first half. 2 against Perak and 3 against Perak in fact, and 2 against Kedah in the Shopee PLFA semi-final last weekend. But so far they've held their fort really well.
Yeah, I mean, again, when you're one game away from getting to where PKNP is, which is they are on 15 points, then you've got all the motivation to go on and win any football match that you have ahead of you. As long as you've got games ahead of you, all you got to do is you got to keep believing, put out a performance and keep believing that you secure enough points to stay in the Super League.
Yet another poor pass from Halim Shari. Now Chanturu, great touch. Azim Rahim is looking to break. It's always going to be difficult for Azim in that situation. Khairul Azan almost causing problems for his Selangor defense. they've done that a couple of times in this match, making things difficult for themselves. Josine intercepted by Khairul Muhaimin. Here's Taylor Regan. Khairul Muhaimin has been everywhere in the first half. He's been given a bit of a creative role, really, moving all the way from the left to the right. Same with Ifedayo, who has dropped really deep to get involved. Here's Ifedayo again. As soon as he gets on the ball, he's always pressed by more than one Felda United player. Still with Selangor, Sandro. Shami Safari is moving down the right. Khairul Muhaimin back with Sandro. Sandro crosses, looking for Ifedayo. Bit too heavy the first touch. Endrick playing it towards Faiz Nasser. Endrick saved by Norazlan Razali.
Well, it all started from a poor pass from Felda after recovering the ball, and that created some little space. Nice little vision here from Endrick to create that little space. Puts the ball in order to Faiz Nasser. First touch, put it in back. I thought Faiz Nasser measured that ball really well. Just think Endrick headed the ball straight at Norazlan. A proper chance, which I think if he did put it in any of the sides, could have been the first goal for Selangor.
Taylor Regan finding Faiz Nasser. Great cross from Faiz Nasser in that situation. Now Fandi Othman. Endrick back with Faiz Nasser. Fandi crosses into the box. Couldn't beat Thiago Aquino's towering header. Here's Faiz again, working his way down the middle. Back with Fandi. Now Faiz, great touch. Finding Khairul Muhaimin inside the box. Clattered into by Thiago Aquino, and now Felda United with Hadin Azman down the left. We've seen this so many times with Hadin. Hadin cutting back, looking for options at the moment. A bit of a heavy first touch from Faiz Mazlan. That was enough for Michel Nguyen to smash the ball away from danger.
Yeah, I was just shocked how easily Shami Safari was taken to the cleaners here. Just a little flick, a turn of pace. Shami Safari well beaten. Hadin Azman so positive in the way he's approaching this game, purely because whenever he's on, even on a 1v2, he's got no problems to take on two players, but what he needs is a bit of support. And I think when he released that ball in the idea that Faiz Mazlan could even prepare himself for a first-timer. Perhaps that's the goalkeeper of Selangor, Khairul Azan. That was not the case. Neither was done. Faiz Mazlan just returned the ball back to Selangor. So what you need is some of the players just needing to play out of a bit more to raise their game and play in a sort of a better thinking, in a more mindful way.
Here's Faiz Nasser down the left flank. Cuts back, setting up for Endrick. Blocked by the Felda defense, and Ifedayo's attempt was never going to cause any problems as well. The offside flag has been raised.
Well, that's a great example, Kish. The minute Hadin Azman played the ball back to Faiz Mazlan, there was a turnover for Selangor. Selangor retained possession. Here when Ifedayo played the ball back to Hendrick, Hendrick's preparing himself for a shot. I know it did not turn out to anything, but that's the difference. And again, you got to feel for Nizam Jamil at times, playing with only 3 foreigners on the pitch. Having a player like K. Kida does not help.
He is on the bench, K. Kida. Up to 5 league goals this season for K. Kida. Probably a vast majority of them have come from penalty kick situations. Here's Shami Safari breaking free down the right. Shami crosses into the box. Couldn't exactly find a white shirt. If you're Satyanathan, what can you do to tweak things around in the second half? Because they have controlled possession. They have been able to create one or two chances, but it's just not working in the final third at the moment.
Yeah, I think they've not held possession enough in the middle of the park. You need Halim, Sandro, Endrick to be trying to draw those defenders from Felda out, because at the moment it's been comfortable for Masaki and Thiago. Only a couple of times perhaps they felt, okay, we need to be in better spaces. But besides that, 43 minutes, I don't think they'll be going into the halftime thing. Selangor's really threatened them. So when you're not getting spaces, then as the better side, you dominate the game, frustrate the opponents, draw them out of positions. So that's where midfielders can come into play. So I think Endrick, Sandro, Halim's got a huge responsibility of trying to switch play. If you can go forward, it's okay to go parallel, but just try to draw them out of positions.
Quick reminder that should Selangor get 3 points here at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium in Jangka, it'll put them within just 2 points of second place side Pahang, who also returned to winning ways last night with a 2-0 win over Kuala Lumpur. Taylor Regan. Here's Sandro. Passes have been slightly messy for Selangor, especially when they're under pressure at the back. Hadi Nazman. Great interception from Halim. Now Faiz Nasir. He's got bags of space down the middle. Faiz finding Sandro. And there you have it. Sandro da Silva puts Selangor 1-0 up in Jangka.
Absolutely brilliant. Being an opportunist. I think Hadi Nazman was trying to find...
Coming up live on iFlix, Sunday, 9 p.m. Felda United take on Selangor.
Jangan lupa saksikan JDP penentang PJCP.
Well, just going back to Hadi Nazman, he was trying to find support. And there was no one player who was taking response. I was a bit disappointed with Faiz Mazlan because he kind of shut the angle for Hadi Nazman. Well, certainly many will look at how the ball actually fell to Faiz Nasir, but then this is just pure class from Sandro. Absolutely brilliant. Drilled that ball, got underneath the ball, but still kept it below the crossbar. Absolute blow here for Felda after putting on such a performance.
6th Liga Super goal of the season for Sandro. I remember when Sandro was signed, it was right before the first transfer window closed, and he was brought in rather hastily to replace Antonio German, and the indication was that Selangor needed someone to pop up with goals whenever possible, and tonight he has popped up with not just an important goal that breaks the deadlock here in Jangka, but it comes at a perfect time as well, just as both sides are looking to go into the break. Just one additional minute here at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium in Jangka, and Sandro da Silva's goal would have undoubtedly completely changed the halftime team talk that Nizam Jamil would have prepped for his side, especially after they were able to hold their fort for much of the first half. Now Sandro again. This time around, it's wide of target.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it does take a spin on his team talk. But I'm looking at his fixtures. He's got KL next. He's got PKNP next. That's a direct battle. You win points there, you get out of that relegation zone. What he needs now is firstly a respectable performance in the second half, because you need to keep a high morale. You need to keep the belief going, and that's what he's got to do for the second half.
So there you go. Majid Muhammad Al-Shamrani has blown the halftime whistle here at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium in Jangka. It's been a scrappy first 45 minutes, but Sandro da Silva's late strike towards the end of the first half gives Selangor a slender 1-0 advantage. So after the first 45 minutes of action here at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium in Jangka, it's Felda United 0, Selangor 1. Here we'll have a look at some of the exciting highlights that happened in the first half. As mentioned, it started out relatively scrappy. Both sides were struggling to create clear-cut chances. Sandro with that strike from way outside the box, going way over the bar as well. Faiz Nasir then cutting back after a great pass from Ifadayo, but the finish was a tame one and didn't exactly trouble Norazlan Razali. This time around, it's a great cross from Faiz Nasir, but Endrick's header was dealt with comfortably by Norazlan before Sandro da Silva with a stunning strike to put Selangor 1-0 up after the first 45 minutes. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this to discuss and dissect the match here in Jangka.
Hey bro.
Brian kini sedang rancang beraksi menonton perlawanan bola sepak. Mari kita tonton playback. Alamak, pergi action kosong. Cara elektrik atau internet. Membeli top up dari kedai runci untuk kekasihnya. Brian nampaknya tersepit dalam detik-detik yang kritikal ini. Hebat! Nasib baik Brian telah melengkapkan setiap langkahnya dengan Boost App. Inilah caranya anda menonton perlawanan bola sepak. Sertai aksi bola sepak dengan cara yang betul, Boost Style.
Minyak hilang tapi bukan bintik hitam. Baru Garnier Mentega dalam satu. Membersih, scrub, masker. Bersihkan minyak, kurangkan bintik hitam. Cuba sekarang.
Menetapkan taraf tersendiri. Gaya penampilanku bukan hanya satu. Melangkah jauh melebihi luaran. Nova menangkap butiran dan kejelasan yang tiada tandingannya. Meneroka menjangkaui batasan. Nova merentasi lingkungan dan kemungkinan baru. Huawei Nova 4, paparan tebuk full view, 25 megapiksel swafoto menakjubkan.
Kelekaan sebentar tadi. Romel Morales untuk berpeluang mencarikan gol. kedua. Silap langkah Kapten Melaka United Syukura dan akhirnya memberikan kepuasan yang seterusnya. Berjaya disudahkan oleh Jan Batanaka. Ini dia kesal tak sudah Syukura dan Sandra Sekmedok. Terengganu 2-1. Terengganu bangkit untuk mengetahui pasal itu. Cek Kipri. Penyelam dari Ivory Coast ini di stadium putar malam keempat tentang pasukan underdog. Dia memilih malam ini, malam yang menjadi pertama bagi musim ini. Malam untuk Kelantan tercari dan terdewas buat kali kedua. Pasukan Liga Super buat kali pertamanya di depan.
Atake, satu hantar terbaik dan jaringan berjaya dilakukan untuk Negeri Sembilan menyamakan kedudukan. Alme yang bertindak bijak memberikan reaksi pertama dengan tandukan menewaskan Hafizul Hakim. Silakan Morales. Peluang kali ini untuk Faizat Ghazali. Meninggalkan untuk Asuren dan hantaran mencari Kepa Syaman. Akhirnya Kepa Syaman berjaya meledak untuk PKS di separuh masa yang kedua ini. Ini kita nak saksikan perancakan aksi di separuh masa yang kedua ini sekali.
Dia pergerakan yang baik. Nampaknya apa yang dikatakan dalam bilik persalinan berjaya.
Good long throw in. Oh, Thiago's header. Utterly caught by surprise by the length of the throw from Anwar Ibrahim. Well, what a substitution. Anwar literally has not had a kick of the ball, and yet he set up this goal.
Masak dua pemain, masih lagi Zakwan dalam permainan. Ruang untuk Zakwan dalam kawasan penalti. Zakwan berjaya untuk mengejar jaring Petaling Jaya City untuk gol yang kedua. Yarkon pada sudut yang sukar. Pastikan bedah lebih selesa. Kita perhatikan sekali lagi. Jadi asak oleh Groman, Felizio Melo turut membantu untuk menyekat kemanaan Zakwan. Namun pada sudut yang sukar. Para dari Nazirul, Wanda Luis akhirnya kekebalan Razlan Arba'i roboh jua menerusi Wanda Luis yang langsung tidak diberikan kawalan dalam kawasan penalti untuk Perak menyamakan kedudukan. Antara tak cuba melepaskan Nazirul tidak offside. Nazirul Laim akhirnya berjaya untuk meletakkan Perak di depan pada minit ke-40. Menerusi satu umpanan bijak dan larian yang dilakukan oleh Nazirul Naim disusuli dengan tindakan penyudah yang cukup sempurna untuk menewaskan Karudin Rahman.
Bagian pertahanan, bagian tengah, bagian hadapan.
Sampai itu peluang untuk Boban. Dan akhirnya jaringan berjaya dihasilkan oleh Jonathan Boban untuk meletakkan Kedah satu gol di hadapan. Papus. Setelah kabur sepakat itu dia. Jaringan berjaya dihasilkan oleh Siva Nelson. Akhirnya Siva Nelson memberikan gol yang kedua untuk Pulau Pinang ke-79. Ini ruang untuk PKNS. Ramai Morales lepaskan kepada Gabriel Guerra. Kealpaan di benteng pertahanan Kedah dihukum oleh Gabriel Guerra untuk PKNS merapatkan jurang. Ya, itu antara jauh untuk Indra Putra. Akhirnya Kuala Lumpur
Putra yang ke-53 berjaya juga. Ini sangat tepat pertama dari Kuala Lumpur dan terus berjaya membuahkan hasil. Farhan di sebelah kiri. Berat dari Farhan mencari Rodriguez. Jaringan pertama. Percubaan pertama. Dan Kedah berada di depan. Minit yang ke-12.
Dan ketika mereka sedang mencari resepi bagaimana nak menyerang, mereka telah mencampurkan resepi itu.
Sekarang ke dalam kepada Terengganu. Kipre buat ketinggian. Kipre yang sudah masuk ke dalam. Mereka Sanja. Tolakkan ke sana. Ini Sanja. Tolakkan semula. Kipre masih lagi apa? Oh, tetapi Sanja sampai dong. Minit ke-50 ini. Terengganu bangkit awal di babak kedua menidakkan tuan rumah. Gembira kejulan Senyum Mati. Mantan United kembali diikat gol kelebihan baru masuk pertama telah.
Yasin Muslim. Pula Indra Putra. Itu dia. Ruang yang dimanfaatkan dengan cukup baik oleh Indra Putra Mahidin untuk jaringan penyamaan Kuala Lumpur. Yang ke-40 akhirnya Kuala Lumpur berjaya untuk menangkan kedudukan.
Be a direct switch. Ashwi Chuchu plays Indra Putra. He's got a bit of space. Indra Putra crosses and DM the Bola. There you go. First goal this season for the Bola. 3-0 for Kuala Lumpur. Job seems to be almost done.
Gol pasukan Kuala Lumpur telah didirikan oleh pemain bagi nomor 10 Zulherman Paula Lucio.
Patiban. Antaran dari Patiban dan akhirnya Perak kembali di depan menerusi Syarif Fikri. Satu umpanan dan juga kombinasi menarik di antara J. Patiban serta Syarif Fikri untuk meletakkan semula Perak mendahului pada kedudukan 2-1.
Berikan bahagian kiri. Kerana itu beliau mungkin memiliki seorang lebih direct.
Rempatan dengan ledakan kaki kanan lintak ketua pasukan Terengganu. Bolehlah merumuskan apa yang telah anda berdua katakan, Zain Ani dan Stanley Bernard. Kekuasaan Terengganu separuh masa kedua dan gol pada minit ke-73 di gol ketiga.
Peluang untuk Azim. Josh Nishad ketika ini cari ruang, pakai sepakat dari Josh Nishad. Tekan tiang. Dan ketika ini Escan Turu. Tandukan dan itu dia dari Azim Rahim. Jaringan kedua untuk pemain ini. Menyamakan kedudukan buat Felda United pada minit yang ke-60.
Gladze semula. Gladze. Itu dia jaringan gol daripada Georgie King Gladze untuk memberikan kelebihan 1-0 buat pasukan Sarawak. Baru tadi kita mengingatkan anda bahawa King Gladze merupakan antara pemain yang perlu diberi perhatian. Dan itu dia King Gladze.
Membiarkan dia kepada Adi Nazman. Apakah gandingan di garis tepi? Adi Nazman. Gol ketiga dari susah berjaya juga. Apakah kita masih sempat untuk menyaksikan sesuatu yang lebih sensasi? 3 gol telah dijaringkan oleh skuad.
Welcome back to the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium for the Liga Super Malaysia clash between Felda United and Selangor. As it stands after the first 45 minutes, Selangor have a slender 1-0 lead courtesy of a stunning strike from Sandro da Silva late in that first half, and it gives them a minor advantage heading into the second 45 minutes. But if anything from the last 10 days or so have taught you about Felda United is that you simply cannot discount them from staging a comeback in the second half. They almost produced one against Perak, and they definitely did one against Kedah last time out as well. Seems like Felda United will be making a couple of substitutions for this match. There you go. Singaporean striker Khairul Amri has been brought on to play up front. Kei Ikeda, the Japanese attacker, has also been introduced, and this will undoubtedly improve Felda United's chances going forward. Alongside me in the commentary booth tonight is Stanley Bernard. Stan, 2 changes for Felda United. How big of a move is this from Nizam Jamil?
Massive. Khairul Amri coming into the mix. I know Kei Ikeda comes in. Perhaps what Kei Ikeda will do is probably sit just behind Khairul Amri. But what Khairul Amri does really well is he will torment the defense. He will pressure. He will breathe down your neck. And he will leave on scraps. That's what Khairul Amri has left his career on. A player who knows about matches like this, and it's a very good substitution from Nizam Jamil.
45 minutes for Felda United to find a way back into this match. Just 1 week ago, they scored 3 goals in 45 minutes to beat Kedah 3-2 here. This time around, the situation is somewhat easier. They're only trailing Selangor by a single goal. And with Khairul Amri and Kei Ikeda coming into the mix, it should give them added firepower up front. That's first touch from Khairul Amri. Here's Khairul Amri again. Playing it back towards Josine, I think it is. Now it's a cross into the box, looking for Kei Ikeda. Khairul Amri almost getting a touch. Faiz Mazlan spreading it towards S. Chanturu. Here's Kei Ikeda, great first touch, looking for Chanturu. This is a bit too hard, that pass from Kei Ikeda. I think Hadin Azman has been withdrawn, Stanley Bernard. Can't seem to spot him on the pitch, but perhaps it's something to do with injury.
It has to be. He's been one of their best players. He looked a bit lethargic at the end. He looked to run himself to the ground. To have confirmation of why he has been removed, because I thought it would have been more likely not him, obviously. But already a different look to the Felda side. They've already tried to play a bit more quicker. Now they've got a target man in Khairul Amri who will run the channels, and he can hold the ball really well.
And it seems like Faiz Mazlan has been pushed to the left flank as well, perhaps forcing Josine Shah to sit deeper alongside Jazazrin. Kei Ikeda, as Stan pointed out just earlier, will play either alongside Khairul Amri or behind him. Bit of a defensive mix-up from Selangor just moments ago. Yes, Thiago Aquino. Thiago plays it towards Chanturu. Taylor Regan trying to connect with that one. Kei Ikeda trying to keep the ball in play, but it does go out for a throw-in for Selangor. Bit of a strange one, Kei Ikeda. He was initially signed to play in that number 10 role, the role that he's playing tonight. But of course, with the amount of problems that Felda United have had up front, initially JC John with the injury he picked up, and Thiago Quirinho then having some other problems, forcing Nizam Jamil to play Kei Ikeda in the number 9 role for much of the Liga Super season so far. He has been able to chip in with 5 goals in 17 appearances. Goalkeeper is receiving a bit of a treatment as well, Khairul Azan. Satyanathan has rotated his men at the back. It's been Khairul Azan and Farizal Harun. Farizal, of course, is a former Felda United goalkeeper as well. But tonight, Khairul Azan gets the nod. So far, he's been pretty good at keeping Felda United at bay. Yes, Sandro da Silva. Poor first touch, gives the ball away back to Felda United. Great 1-2 from Jazazrin and Thiago. Almost looking to play Khairul Amri. Khairul Azan will clear that one. Ifedayo now racing into the channels. He grabs the ball. Needs a bit more support. Ifedayo cuts back but couldn't find a white shirt. Still with Selangor at the moment. Sandro breaking free. Looking for space. Sandro blocked by Masaki Watanabe. And Tasnim Fitri only clears that as far as Shami Safari. There you go, Selangor have scored their second goal of the night. Ifedayo Omosui. If there's one man you simply cannot underestimate on the pitch, it's Ifedayo. 9th Liga Super goal of the season.
Make a date, Saturday, 27th of July, the Shopee Piala FA Final. Perak versus Kedah, live on iFlix.
And I think the key here, again, if you look at both the goals that Felda has conceded, here I think Tasnim fails to clear the line. Ball comes back to Sandro. Sandro just finds that little 1-2 before he actually sees that that ball is better to let at Ifedayo. And Ifedayo, whenever he gets in those areas, he's really sharp. Put it really low, beyond the reach of Nur Azlan. A really good start to Selangor, how they're going to go about trying to make sure that they keep that 3 points, and they'll be pushing up to third place if they do remain with this scoreline.
You always need that second goal to kill momentum, and Felda United had every bit of that momentum in the first 5 minutes of the second half. And with the second goal, Selangor now find themselves in the driving seat, leaving Felda United with a mountain to climb here at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium. Chanturu, Kida plays it back towards Chanturu. Swift passing from Felda United. Here's Khairul Amri. Hasn't exactly adjusted to the tempo of the match so far, Khairul Amri. Ifedayo, Sandro plays it towards Endrick. Faiz Nase is making a run on the left. Ifedayo inside the box. Cross from Faiz Nase. Looking for Ifedayo. Couldn't get a clean connection with the ball.
I think the killer blow here is certainly Nizam changed his tactics as well. Going a bit more offensive, just trying to get Selangor maybe in the back foot. Selangor's response has been brilliant. I think what they've done is they've seen that change. The players themselves have realized that if they get in the front foot, they're going to be having more space. But I think the biggest problem here for Felda is the amount of space Sandro's got in the last 7 minutes has been far bigger, far more time that he's had in the first 45 minutes. And if you start giving Sandro that kind of space, dictate play, dictate tempo, then you're in for trouble.
There's Sandro da Silva, the former Kedah man, known as a legend in those parts of Malaysia. But he's up to 6 league goals for Selangor this season. Continues to be a huge part of this B. Satyanathan setup. Sandro again. This time around his pass is intercepted by Jadid Ilyas. Back with Tasnim. Here's Faiz Mazlan. Long ball forward in search of Kida. Collided with Michal Nguyen in that run. Seems to have tripped him as well.
Yeah, and a poor start from Tasnim at left back. I think he's been struggling in the second half. I thought he had a decent first half. He provided some width in the attack for Hadi Nazman, and his primary job defensively, I thought he did okay. But in the second half, he seems to be a bit more loose. At times, what happens is when you play more offensive, you don't have enough help from your midfield, then you got to be stronger. When you have possession, when you're defending 1v1, I think Tasnim has had a very poor start to the second half.
Now Selangor with a chance to break here. Endrick. Faiz Nasir has space, but Endrick chooses to go all the way to the right, finding Sandro. Efedayo inside the box. Sandro has a bit of work to do now. Under pressure from Tasnim. Goes back towards Shami Safari. Here's Endrick again. Halim Shari, he's got bags of space. Great twist from Halim Shari, and he's brought down in what will be a dangerous position for Selangor to take a free kick. And you can see Sandro instantly collecting the ball.
He's on that kind of day, Kish, where everything he's touching is turning into goals, especially in the second half.
And he loves positions like this as well, Stan.
Yeah, technically, when you're that sound, this is the kind of distance you fancy. After scoring an absolute bolter of a goal, I think not many players can hit a ball that powerful and then still keep it under the crossbar. That was just him showing his technical prowess.
Endrick and Sandro behind the ball. Sandro goes straight for goal. Saved by Norazlan Razali. Now Norazlan plays it really quickly, looking for K. Ikeda. Back with Selangor again. Here's Shami Safari. Cutting it towards Halim Shari. Endrick. Twisting and turning Endrick. Efedayo. Selangor lose possession. Faiz Mazlan couldn't exactly control the ball in that situation under pressure. Here's Efedayo again. 9 goals in 7 league matches. Efedayo Omosui. Bit of a rough challenge from Masaki Watanabe. Here's a replay of the goal that Selangor scored, the second goal, Stan.
Yeah, it was just basic at the end of the day, which at the highest level, because the ball fell nicely into a part of Efedayo. All he needs to do is just stuck it into that very far corner of Razlan's right. But it's the turnovers that happens in your own defensive area, and I think Tasnim failed to clear the ball, fell into Sandro, and that's where I think you find yourself really struggling to defend such quality.
Taylor Regan, long crossfield pass looking for Khairil Muhaimin. Almost got a great first touch there, Khairil. But in the end, enough was done to throw him off guard. Jazazrin playing it back towards Thiago. Thiago lomps the ball forward. Shami Safari will deal with that one. Back with Felda. Here's K. Ikeda. Couldn't get past Halim Shari. It's with Selangor again. Endrick. He's been moving everywhere, Endrick, in the second half especially. Surging forward at the moment. Spraying it all the way down the left. Fandi Osman. Fandi will cross. Blocked by Jadid Ilyas, and Jazazrin will clear that one. K. Ikeda making a run. Just look at how quickly Faiz Nasir dropped back to close down on him. They should try and take advantage of set-piece situations like this, Stan, especially when you've got players like Watanabe and Thiago capable of being a threat inside the box.
And I think the key here is also to try and get something going in the attacking third, just to build a little confidence after the dent of how they came out more offensive, but they are the one who's conceded now, trailing by 2 goals.
Great delivery from Josine, looking for Thiago. Slightly over the bar.
Just showing his aerial prowess again, Thiago. Taylor Regan tied on him, still have enough to try and generate enough power behind that header, just couldn't get it on target.
He's been in Malaysian football really long, Thiago Aquino. I think he spent the last few seasons with Felda. Prior to that, played with Perak as well. Fedayo Omusui seems to have picked up a bit of a knock.
Yeah, I think if you go back to when he was donning the Perak colours, I remember you were one of them who were really sad to see him leave after having a stellar season. And he's been one of those most consistent foreigners whenever he's donned any jersey in Malaysian football. And clearly you can see, even though Felda is sitting bottom, he's one of the leaders, still putting on a fight.
Great pass from Hendrik. Almost carving out a chance for Shami Safari to cross. But they do get a corner kick out of that move. Just a reminder that you can catch key moments and all goals from every Liga Super Malaysia match on Twitter. Just find the account MFL Live and you'll be able to see every single highlight on that particular page. Delivery from Sandro into the box. Bit too hard. But trying to find Khairul Muhaimin. Fandi Othman will take this throw in for Selangor. Fandi towards Hendrik. Thiago clears that own way, intercepted by Halim. Sandro drops back. Trying to assist Shami Safari. Ball is back with Mishang Nguyen. Here's Taylor Regan, the former Adelaide United defender. Less than 30 minutes left here at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium in Jangka. Selangor have a 2-0 lead over Felda United. Ifedayo trying to use his physical prowess to get the better of 2 Felda defenders. Hendrik now spring it towards Khairul Muhaimin. Cuts back, looking for space. Khairul plays it towards Hendrik, who finds Faiz Nasir. Still with Faiz. And Shami Safari. Blocked by the Felda defense. Still with Selangor at the moment. Sandro trying to find Shami. Intercepted by Felda United. Here's K. Ikeda. Playing it quickly. Chanturu down the right. He's got Fandi Othman ahead of him. Needs a bit of support at the moment, Chanturu. Khairul Amri is inside the box. Chanturu opts to find Josine shot. Trying to play K. Ikeda. Blocked by the Selangor defense. And now Thiago. Here's Khairul Amri. It's all a bit scrappy inside the box at the moment. Shami Safari did enough to put the ball out of play. Back with Felda now. Tasnim Fitri finding Jasazrin. Here's Khairul Amri. Tasnim Fitri again. Great spell of possession for Felda United. Here's Josine. Working his way into the dangerous area. Josine! Equalizer! Reduces the deficit, in fact, for Felda United. What a strike from Josine's shot. It came out of absolutely nowhere.
Make a date, Saturday, 27th of July, the Shopee Piala FA Final. Perak versus Kedah, live on iFlix.
Absolute belter. Firstly, I think he had so much belief. He kept going through the legs of Mishang Nguyen, who's had my doubts throughout the whole season, just not strong enough. But then you've got to have top technique. Drilled the ball so powerful, kept it underneath the crossbar. That goal is going to go a long way tonight. With so much time to play, Felda's right in this.
Only his second Liga Super goal of the season, a Josine shot. And strangely enough, you usually see Hadin Azman doing that from positions like that, working his way inside the box. But it's something that Josine has been able to do to get Felda back into the match. It's now 2-1 with approximately 25 minutes left here in Jangka. And I tell you what, after everything we've seen from Felda in the last 10 days, you just simply cannot underestimate them. Here's Ifadayo. It's probing at the moment. Ifadayo setting up Sandro. Blocked by Thiago. Now Chanturu. Cairo Lamri. Plays it towards Tasnim Fitri. Intercepted by Karel Muhaimin. Back with Hendrik. Bit of a wake-up call, that goal for Selangor. Sandro. Finding Fandi Othman, who cuts right into the middle. Opts to go wide again with Faiz Nase. He's up against Thiago at the moment, Faiz. Selangor continue to dominate possession just outside the box. Here's Karel Muhaimin finding Hendrik again. Back with Halim Shari. Great ball from Hendrik, looking for Faiz Nase. Good first touch. Still with Faiz, looking for space. Ifadayo. Saved by Norazlan Razali.
Well, neat little football from Selangor. That's not been the problem, but what's been the problem is the transition from attack to defense. And on the other hand, from defense to attack, Felda did score that goal through Josine's shot. Great response.
Great chance for Felda at the moment. Here's K. Ikeda. Cuts back towards S. Chanturu. Momentum is with Felda United at the moment. Josine's shot, the goal scorer. Setting up Jazazrin. Working his way into the box, Jazazrin. Yes, Faiz Mazlan. Straight into the palms of Khairul Azan. Game's getting stretched at the moment, end-to-end stuff. Faiz Nase down the left for Selangor. Cuts back. Sandro da Silva. Here's Karel Muhaimin. Now Hendrik. Couldn't find Ifadayo with that pass.
Yeah, I think the key here, again, players like Faiz Mazlan has had a very poor first half. Needs to raise the bar. And he gets replaced. Purely because you need players to have a bit more quality in that area. What Felda has done in the last 5 minutes is they're asking so much questions of the Selangor defense. They've got to defend better. They're right in this game. Selangor, on the other hand, has been brilliant in the second half, attacking-wise. Defensively, lots of question marks.
Bit of a heavy first touch from Sandro. Still with the Red Giants at the moment. Halim Shari, great ball for Faiz Nase. Cuts back. Looking for options, Faiz. Thiago gets a vital touch. Now Josine. Breaking free for Felda United. Just watch the run of Saddam down the left. Cairo Lamri is inside the box. Saddam! Probably saw a bit of space and decided to try his luck.
Yeah, again, just Josine driving the team. Every time he gets space in front of him, he's attacking it with a lot of pace. And he's also got the vision, he's got the technique to try and orchestrate an attack. Selangor's got to see that. Because what they got to do is maybe Halim needs to take charge. Or Hendrik needs to take charge. But I'm looking at where Hendrik is being deployed. He's more offensive. Sandro obviously is more offensive. So the number 6 needs to be first to the ball, because at the end of the day, as much as they want to try and score their third goal, Felda is right in this. They perhaps are creating enough to get a second as well.
This is Felda United's territory. 76% of the goals that Felda United have scored in the Liga Super Malaysia have come in the second half. Josine breaking down the left flank. Great bit of footwork from Josine. Almost finding Khairul Amri. Just Azrain, smart pass towards Thiago. Vital interception from Sandro. And Ifedayo is now brought down.
Yeah.
I think Hendrik was trying to take that one really quickly. Spotted the run of Faiz Nasir.
Yeah, I think Masaki took one for the team. Very clever foul. Because I was just counting the amount of players that were caught out if Selangor were to launch that attack. You could look Thiago Jr., who's on the right-hand side of the pitch as a right winger. That's your centre back. He's calculated. He's got about 3v5. Had to make a foul. That's a bit of just seniority just playing in his mind, a bit of experience playing in his mind. There's always risk with that yellow card as a centre back.
Here's Masaki Watanabe, a player who was brought in just before the transfer window closed in February, signed from Perlis. Japanese defender who has formed a formidable partnership with Thiago Jr. at the heart of Felda United's defense this season. Faiz Nasir, blocked by Jadid Ilyas. So B. Satyanathan is prepared to make his first change of the match. Veteran striker Amri Yahya is set to be introduced. Just awaiting confirmation on the player that he will come on to replace. I think it's Khairul Muhaimin. There you go. Khairul Muhaimin comes off. Amri Yahya comes on. What's running behind Satyanathan's mind with this change then?
Yeah, I just think he's given Khairul Muhaimin every single game that he started him a bit more minutes. He took him out a bit earlier than 60th minute against JDT where he scored that goal. And in the last game as well, took him out in the 60th minute. And then now 70th minute. So what he's getting is he's building, as I mentioned earlier. He's been very detailed towards the progress Khairul Muhaimin has given him, and it has worked out really nicely for him. Khairul Muhaimin scoring, Khairul Muhaimin contributing. And Amri Yahya coming on in a game like this, that's a really smart change. Amri just knows how to play against a team like Felda and having that experience to try and, just protect the lead as well.
Here's Hendrik. Finding Faiz Nasir, back to Hendrik. Be interesting to see where Amri Yahya slots into the pitch. He has moved to the right flank, of course. Great bit of work from Amri, combining with Faiz Nasir. Still Amri, Ifedayo now. Here's Hendrik. Chanturu was quick to dive and block Hendrik's attempt.
Now, first time, perhaps I'm seeing Halim just perhaps being told by Satya to sit a bit more tighter defensively. Focus on being that first man to cushion your back four. Because as soon as Kida received the ball, it was Halim Shari towards him.
Here's Chanturu again. I think the referee claims the ball hits his hand. He's never happy with any decision, is he, Chanturu? Throw in for Felda United. Tasnim Fitri. Here's Masaki Watanabe. Khairul Amri dropping deep to get a bit more involved. We haven't seen much of him since his introduction on the 46th minute.
Well, he's been working the channels pretty well. I think he's dropped in the hole. He's held the ball a bit more than Azim did in the first half. Not in dangerous areas yet.
Yes, Khairul Amri now in a dangerous area. Khairul Amri finding Tasnim Fitri. It's all a bit scrappy, but Taylor Regan did enough. Josine shot. I think he was trying to find Thiago there, but bit of a poor pass from Josine, really. Almost caught all of us by surprise.
Yeah, he's put on such a good performance, Josine Shah, just taking charge. That's what you need sometimes from foreign players, just to show why they're being one of those players to help raise the team's level. Josine has certainly been one of those star players for Felda this season as well.
Shami Safari. Faiz Naseh was now switched to the right flank, allowing Amri to go to his preferred left flank. "15 minutes left here at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium. Selangor are still 2-1 ahead against Felda United. Bit too heavy that pass, looking to find Amri Haya. Just look at Ifedayo's position on the pitch at the moment. He seems to be really deep. Endrick at the moment is Selangor's furthest player forward.
Yeah, and I think that will change very shortly. Ifedayo does not do any good when he drops too deep. I think he will be an asset whenever he is around the box, as you've seen a couple of times, Kish, in the first half. Whenever he dropped, it's just almost like he's a no zone for him. Just a solid goal scorer, does not get involved in too much of build-up play, but just know where the back of the goal is.
Endrick. Amri Haya is making a run. Endrick looks to spot Faiz Naseh on the right flank with that ball, but great touch from Watanabe to put the ball out of play. Amri Haya will take this one. Keep an eye on Ifedayo inside the box. Amri plays it short instead, goes towards Sandro! Slightly over the bar from Sandro da Silva.
Well, a bit cheeky from Sandro. I think Nur Azlan kind of saw it coming. He was never disturbed with that little try from Sandro. Again, I think it's credit to how Felda set up, as I mentioned on the first half. I think what they've done with set pieces, defending set pretty well. And that's why maybe Selangor decided to change a little bit and see if they can play it short and then put in and try and disrupt that plan. Certainly has been no good from the free kicks on either corner, Selangor at the moment. But they've had a better second half performance. I think offensively, they've shown us how good a team they are. When given space and time, they've created enough to even score a third. But defensively here, they've got to defend if they want to get something out of this match.
Smart move from Josine. Here's Chanturu down the right. Chanturu crosses, looking for Ikeda. Does go over the bar. I think it was Masaki Watanabe in that situation, in fact, but it's a swift play from Felda United.
Yeah, I think it was a massive touch from Shami Safari, who takes the ball off. That little touch takes the ball off completely from Masaki Watanabe's timing. Hits in a place where he doesn't know too much about it. And Chandru again finding space to thread a ball in. Half a chance.
Here's Kei Ikeda. Jadid Ilyas finding against Josine this time around. Long ball from Josine. Looking for Saddam Hashim down the left. Saddam crosses, dangerous ball. Crucial touch from Fandi Othman. Still with Thiago. Fandi seems to be limping at the moment. Endrick. Halim Shari, Sandro. Goes towards Amri Yahya. Amri finds Endrick. Here's Sandro again. Deft touch from Sandro. Couldn't find Ifedayo. Bit of a rough challenge on Khairul Amri. Free kick for Felda United. And it appears that Selangor will be making their second change of the match. I think it's Halim Shari that's going to be brought off to be replaced by Latif Suhaimi. It's a corner kick for Felda United now. And we might get confirmation on the change as well. Halim, of course, is a defensive midfielder, while Latif Suhaimi is more of a centre-back, really. But it is a set-piece opportunity for Felda United at the moment. Needs a good delivery from Chanturu. Chanturu with the ball, easily cleared away by Endrick. Now Tasnim Fitri will lump it forward, almost setting up Kei Kida. But I think the offside flag has been raised. Stan, I'm curious to get your thought on the substitution, Stan. I mean, Halim Shari, we know he's a guy who loves to sit in front of the back four, play in that defensive midfield role, whereas Latif Suhaimi is more of a classic centre-back, isn't he?
Yeah, but Satya's used him in a defensive midfield role a lot this season. As I mentioned earlier, I think that clearly what Satya needs now is he needs one player to be quick in transition. Whenever Selangor loses the ball, he needs a player straight to the first Felda player that receives the ball. That's not been happening. We've seen Josine run the show and cause a lot of trouble. This game is far from over if there is no game management from Selangor. Certainly Selangor can go on to add a 3, but there's no guarantee Selangor might not concede a second. So that's why I think Satya at the moment needs Latif to go and try and be the first man to go and put on a pressure to just give a little cushion to that back four.
Ifedayo Omosui, what a player he has been for Selangor this season. Here's a bit of a replay from the goal Ifedayo scored. Selangor's second goal, which is, of course, his 9th Liga Super goal of the season in just 7 appearances. Sandro visibly unhappy with the decision to award Felda United a throw-in. This is where the game, you suspect, will start to get really stretched as Felda begin to commit more men forward in search of the equalizer. They still trail Selangor by 1 goal at the moment with approximately 7 minutes minus injury time left here in Jangka. Josine Shad brought down. Throw in taken quickly. Another player goes down. This time around, Khairul Amri. Free kick for Felda United.
Yeah, a bit of lazy defending as well from Misha Nguyen, who's had a really poor performance tonight. Khairul Amri does it so well. That's what he does. He drags centre-backs out of position and then holds it really well, forces a foul. And now, Can Felda make it count?
This is a great opportunity, and we've seen Josine deliver quality balls. Great cross from Josine. This time around, Hendrik won the header. Now Selangor look to break. Amri Yahya down the left. Almost got in between two Felda United defenders. Here's Amri again. Bit of a lazy pass from Amri. And Felda will look to break. Josine spreading it all the way to the left. But Chanturu couldn't exactly keep the ball in play. Here's Ifadayo. Faiz Nase. Twisting and turning Faiz Nase. Hasn't exactly had an easy game, Faiz, but he has worked really hard on the pitch. It's Felda United. Thiago. Bit more advanced. Thiago crosses. Looking for, I think it's K. Ikeda, who did get a header back. No orange shirt was able to pounce. Five minutes for Felda United to try and find an equalizer.
Yeah, I think it was a really genuine quality on the ball from Thiago. But you rather want him to be at the end of that cross. But I think Kekida's idea was right. He needed Khairul Amri to perhaps just break away, peel off from the defender.
Get another long ball. Looking for the run of K. Ikeda this time around. Read pretty well by Michel Nguyen. Faiz Nase, Sandro. Here's Hendrik. Hendrik back towards Faiz. Amri Yahya just roaming all over the left flank. Here's Amri. Selangor choosing to keep the ball at the moment. They're not in a rush. They do have a 2-1 advantage. Efedayo Omosui. Here's Sandro. Great interception by Chanturu, but possession returns to Selangor. It's a throw in for the Red Giants. It's exactly the sort of position Satya will want his players to be in. The opposition half. Running down the clock. Faiz Nase finding Amri Yahya. Watch Faiz Nase's movement. But Amri Yahya's pass was blocked by, I think it was Watanabe.
Yeah, I think the key here at the moment is game management. When you have possession of the ball, that's where Sandro's taking charge now of trying to dictate play. And you start to frustrate Felda. And there is an opportunity when you see the centre backs rushing out, just trying to regain possession. Then maybe you can find some passage play where you can perhaps create a chance. But at the moment, last 5 minutes, been a bit clever from Selangor because they've been playing at the same tempo Felda has been playing. What they need is game management at the moment, and if they do be successful to try and just push it through as they run down the minutes, then they probably will see the 3 points.
It's about to get complicated at the moment. Free kick for Felda United. Thiago, Watanabe, Khairul Amri, K. Ikeda, every single one of them inside the box. Josine shot, lumps it forward. Couldn't find an orange shirt. Amri Yahya. Back with Felda United at the moment. It's another cross this time around picked up by Khairul Azan. Faiz Nase will chase this one down. Great work from Faiz Nase, setting up Amri Yahya. Rattles the post, Amriaya.
Well, never fails to make an impact. Amriaya, that's just quality from him. Hits it low, near post, bouncing. Nur Azlan beaten. Well beaten. Not the post.
Great bit of work from K. Kida. Carol Amri finding Josine. Josine opts to switch flanks. It's a great cross into the box. Taylor Regan hits it away. Felda United regain possession through Saddam. Yet another free kick for the fighters.
Well, every time Selangor concedes a free kick in those areas, they know it's a huge threat. You've got Masaki Watanabe, Cairo Lamri, you can hit those balls. But above all, you've got Thiago.
All it needs is a good delivery and a great finish. Josine's cross into the box. This time around, Ifedayo gets a crucial touch on it. Bit of a clash between Thiago and Taylor Regan, I think, in the process of that. There's a corner kick for Felda United.
Yeah, really clever from Masaki Watanabe. Because what you want to do at that time, I know Michelle Nguyen, you get them into a fight and you waste a lot of time. What Masaki's done is just avoided the fight, gone around the post, say, let's get on with a corner kick. Because they're trying to chase a game here.
Six orange shirts inside the box. This Felda United's moment. Cross from S. Chanturu. But the header wasn't exactly a clean one. Just over a minute left in injury time here in Junka. Should Selangor hold on to this 2-1 lead, it will push them up to third spot on the Liga Super Malaysia table within just 2 points of Pahang. But it's still not over for Felda United. 30 seconds left on the clock. And they have a free kick now. Taken quickly. Cross from Tasnim Fitri. And there you go. The match official has blown the final whistle here at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium in Junka. Selangor end the match with a 2-1 win that takes them to third spot on the Liga Super Malaysia table. They were 1-0 up at halftime courtesy of Sandro da Silva strike. Ifedayo made it 2-0 before Josine Shad pulled one back. But ultimately, Selangor held on to clinch a 2-1 win. So after 90 minutes of action here in Junka, it's Felda United 1, Selangor 2. We'll have a look at some of the key highlights that took place throughout 90 minutes of action here in Junka. It started out rather scrappy with both sides being limited to half chances, especially this effort from Sandro from outside the box. Faiz Nasir was then presented with a great ball from Ifedayo, but his finish wasn't exactly an accurate one, didn't cause Nur Azlan much trouble. Faiz Nasir then turned provider for Endrick, whose header was dealt with rather well by Nur Azlan. Here is the goal that Sandro da Silva scored towards the end of the first half. What a fabulous strike from the Brazilian, completely leaving Nur Azlan helpless. Selangor continued to play really well in the second half. Ifedayo then scoring to double their lead within 5 minutes into the second half. Great finish from the Nigerian, his 9th Liga Super goal of the season. But Felda United continue to push forward in search of their goal, and Josene shot here, great bit of work, eventually getting into the box and firing the ball past Khairul Azan to make it 2-1 for Felda United. The fighters continue to create chances, but it was Selangor who caused a lot of problems in the final third as well. Sandro da Silva with a cheeky finish from outside the box, only that it was slightly over the bar. K. Kida then couldn't get a clean header as Felda United looked to push really hard in the final third. Faiz Nasir then setting up Amri Yahya, whose attempt left Nur Azlan helpless, but it was denied by the post. Here's another look at the attempt. Amri Yahya, what a great strike, only being denied by the post. So after 90 minutes of action at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium here in Jangka, Selangor will go home with a 2-1 win over Felda United. We'll have a look at some of the key talking points in the first half. I think this was the strike from Sandro da Silva. It was a great pass from Faiz Nasir to set up Sandro. And the Brazilian striker hit the ball with such ferocious pace that it left Nur Azlan Razali completely helpless. Look at the pace on the ball yet again. What a strike from Sandro da Silva. That goal gave Selangor a slender 1-0 lead going into halftime. But Ifedayo Omosui then, despite Felda United's great start in the second half, they created a number of key chances before Ifedayo Omosui in the right place at the right time, and he needed a great finish, and the Nigerian was able to provide exactly just that, slotting it into the back of the net to double Selangor's lead in Jangka. Against the run of play as well, it should be added in the second half. But Felda United, of course, never really gave up, as we saw in their last couple of matches. And this time around, Josene shot great footwork to get past the shackles of two Selangor defenders before he fired a stunning strike that completely defeated Khairul Azan to reduce the deficit here in Jangka and make it 2-1 after 62 minutes. Great bit of work from Josene as well. This is only his second Liga Super goal of the season from the Brazilian midfielder. So at the end of 90 minutes, Felda United eventually were able to wrap up and give Selangor a 2-1 win in Jangka. We'll look at all the 6 matches that took place this weekend. PKNS losing 1-2 to Terengganu, Kedah being held by PKNP in Alostar, Perak falling 3-0, defeat against Jodal Takzim, Pahang beating KL 2-0, PJ City losing to Malacca 1-2, and tonight Selangor coming away from Jangka with a vital 2-1 win over Felda United. Here's the latest standings of the Liga Super Malaysia as well. As you can see, Selangor have now leapfrogged into 3rd spot on the Liga Super Malaysia table. 31 points, merely 2 points behind Pahang, who are in 2nd place, though Pahang do have a game in hand. A quick look at the relegation zone. PKNP are on 15 points in 10th spot. Kuala Lumpur are 11th with 14 points, while Felda United remain rooted to the bottom of the Liga Super table with 12 points. So that's all from us here at the Tun Abdul Razak Stadium in Jangka. 3 goals were scored, end-to-end stuff from both Felda United and Selangor. But after 90 minutes of what was entertaining action here in Jangka, it's Felda United 1, Selangor 2.
Brian berjaya memakai kereta dengan cantik sekali dengan menggunakan teknik reverse parking. Oh, nampaknya ada masalah. Nampaknya Brian terperangkap di sudut. Sekejap, Brian telah membuka Boost app. Biar betul, tak pernah saya melihat kepantasan seperti ini. Tapi masa dah semakin suntuk. Oh, syukurlah dia berjaya. Inilah keajaiban pada detik terakhir. Sertai aksi bola sepak dengan cara yang betul. Boost style.
Minyak hilang tapi bukan bintik hitam. Baru Garnier Men 3 dalam 1. Membersih, scrub, masker. Bersihkan minyak, kurangkan bintik hitam. Cuba sekarang.
Menetapkan taraf tersendiri. Gaya penampilanku bukan hanya satu. Melangkah jauh melebihi luaran. Nova menangkap butiran dan kejelasan yang tiada tandingannya. Meneroka menjangkaui batasan. Nova berentasi lingkungan dan kemungkinan baru. Huawei Nova 4, paparan tebuk full view, 25 megapiksel swafoto.